Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to our global call. It is so good to see everyone here and seeing all the new people that are joining us. And we're in for an exciting and history-making report today. So Patty, our founder, and Jonathan will be the presenters today, and we will start off with Patty and welcome everyone again. Over to you, Patty.
Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate it. It's been a long time since we have had this update call. There's been some good reasons for that. We just wanted to come when we've got a lot more facts available and some sort of substance. I'd just like to go back a bit. In the beginning of 2023, just over almost 2 years ago, we put together a group of us called the Drivers Initiative, and we made a decision that we were going to sort of work together to put together a business model that's going to take Frigga to the next level. As you know, we've spent many years in working together on our project. All the principles that we set out in the beginning, we've honored every step of the way. But like any business, and it's something that you can experience in any technology company, whenever you develop something new, you are going to have situations where you have to pivot along the way. But what has never changed is the fact that our mission is to Frigorize the world and our mission statement is to emancipate disenfranchised communities of the world, one community at a time. FIGA stands for Freedom, Global Abundance. And the trick was how are we going to execute the plan to achieve that the objective. And we tried various things. Certain things didn't work all that well. Others worked better than others. But we've actually have now sort of got to the point where we're going to have a very exciting 2025. In the beginning of 2023, a group of us got together, as you know. We formed the Drivers Initiative. We looked at all the 28 applications that were partially developed or mainly developed at that stage. And we said, what are the main tools we're going to use to be able to grow our ecosystem to the next level? After discussing the pros and cons of all the different tools, we decided that we were going to use growth points. At that stage, it was called Invest Plus. We rebranded it as growth points. We'd focus on that as the go-to market strategy, and we started to put together a plan. We also recognized the importance of having a mobile strategy and to develop our own Frigga Everything app. We're very important. So we started the first few months in 2023. The technical team with Anita sort of leading the team, we looked at the whole Invest Plus, rebranded it, looked at all the modeling behind it, and really started to build some sort of capacity behind it. At the same time, we started to look at how we would go and get the businesses to take up the tools. We started to go and visit a couple of the businesses, mainly in the working area, and then other people around the world did the same thing. And we realized that we needed to really sort of get some sort of decent scale. Around about May in 2023, we then received, while this was all happening, we received an unsolicited approach from a company that expressed interest in buying Frigga. We found it very interesting. They approached us. They made some sort of indicative idea as to what they felt they could achieve in terms of buying the company. We were, flattered that they would make us that offer. But we felt that the business was not at a point where, first of all, that it was ready to be sold. And if it was to be sold, the terms and conditions of who we're going to sell to is important to us. But nevertheless, we entertained what they offered to us. We said to them we'd like to come back to them, and we just left the door open. After a few months, while we were still rolling out the Drivers Initiative, we considered a couple of changes that were taking in the marketplace. And in particular, we've noticed that when it gets to financial services, it's a whole different ballgame in terms of compliance. And we looked at our skill set and looked at the risks and of going the full financial route, and decided that the right thing to do would be rather to see if we can't bring in some sort of partner who would help us on the financial compliance side, because it's a whole different ballgame. So with that in mind, what we did was we took the company, Frigga Limited. We incorporated two more companies, which was existed already, called Something to Trade, and then was another one was Right Trade. And we took the business and divided it into three main parts. On the Frieger Limited would be the company that manages the data side of the business, the GDPR regulate maintenance of the data, the storage and management of the data. We saw something to trade as being a marketplace where also put all the software as a service tools, and we saw Right Trade as being an entity that would handle all the financial compliance and all the regulatory requirements around financial services. We then started to work with some external consultants to see what would be required in order for Right Trade to get Financial Conduct Authority approval. At the same time, we then approached the company that had expressed interest in buying Frieger, and we sounded them out as to whether they would be interested in participating in the Right Trade venture. Their interest was very real and very interesting, and they were very interested. So we started. That's run about September 23. We started to negotiate or discuss with them the permutations. We looked at various sort of options. We considered some sort of the numbers. And what became very clear to us is that we had a saleable opportunity to bring a partner into something to trade. The most important thing was to get the numbers right. We could actually put forward some sort of figures, but they really wanted to get a feel as to whether we're going to get traction in terms of the number of clients that be using our services that would then require the financial services from Right Trade. So this meant we needed to sort of get back into the drivers initiative, start getting the numbers right. At the same time, Jonathan and I then started to talk to a chap by the name of Gideon Clinton. He runs a company called Media Graphic, I think his name was, and we had met him in London, and he is a sort of a mobile specialist, and we looked at developing the Frieger mobile app. And there was we played around with a couple of ideas. We started getting some sort of indication of price and complexity around building the mobile app. We sort of kept the discussions open with them, and at the same time, while that was happening, we saw an opportunity to try and use to get the growth point application up and running. We needed to get a lot of merchants behind us to use our services. And the opportunity arose when we noticed that the Woking Borough, where I lived at the time, was going through some financial problems. They had gone and increased their prices of their parking, and we saw this as an opportunity as a go-to-market strategy. So we started a joint venture project to build an app that would handle the parking. And in 2000, beginning of 2024, that sort of expanded to sort of include into that app the sort of more functions and features. At the same time, we had now had an indication of price, which was going to cost us to build this mobile app, and that meant that we needed to raise capital. We explored the possibility of doing a special purpose vehicle in order to raise the funds to do that, and that we looked at those alternatives. We then looked at the possibility of bringing in sort of venture capitalists or angel investors or some sort of way of funding. We considered crowdfunding options, but we needed to raise money to write the app. And it proved to be difficult to raise that money, but more because the type of investors we were dealing with in our model is particularly unique, and it doesn't fit the mold of a traditional venture capital or angel investor sort of mold. So we tried various attempts to raise the funds, but we weren't able to do so. And I understand why. I mean, it's particularly difficult because we do have a unique business model. So we stopped pursuing the private equity or angel investment route, and then decided to sort of focus on sort of trying internally generating the funds to pay for the mobile app. While this was all happening during the period in 24, Anita and the team, we started to re-look at the whole mobile app and started to peel back all the functionality. So while we were looking to raise the funds to be able to get the mobile app out, we started to do more and more the work ourselves. And rather than contract out to get the app written, we started to write many of the tools ourselves, and we chipped away at it to discover that as time progressed, the need for us to have funds in order to write the app to get it out was no longer important, because we've gone and spent our time and resources to achieve it. So we decided not to proceed with that approach. In the same time, while this was happening, we put in the back burner the prospect of selling an interest in Right Trade. By the way, in anticipation of Right Trade being sold, we all the shareholders that were shareholders of Frega Limited were pari passu, got the same ratio of shares in Right Trade and Something to Trade. You'll remember that. So if you owned 1% of Right Trade of Frega, you would own 1% of the shares in Right Trade and 1% of the shares in Something to Trade. So there was, everybody was treated pari passu the same. And that's how we sort of structured it. In the meantime, with the now the commissioning of the mobile app, the everything the Frega Super app, we also saw in the course of negotiating with this potential buyer of the company, we thought it's very important that should they buy the company or take an interest in the company and be involved in the management of the company, we had to make sure that we had put in place the relevant securities and protections to make sure that everything that we have, our ethos was covered, our philosophy is covered, and all the investments that we've made over the years had to be covered carefully. So, in that regard, we looked at all our different asset classes that we've got. You'll know recently now, we then consolidated all the money that we've invested as a cooperative in the different applications. We brought them all together into one type of asset, which is called growth services. And similarly, anybody that has had an investment in their shares in Frega, and all and anybody who had growth points or different points, we consolidate them into one as well. So you're aware of that. We've gone and done a lot of those updates of the records. You will see that Anita's been reporting on that sort of literally every week on the technical updates on as we've been rolling it out. In the meantime, in around about September, October this year, we started to look at the now that we're heading towards getting the mobile app out, we started to look at how we would sort of expand our go-to-market strategy around the world. And we started to talk to some very interesting people, and the decision was to adopt a sort of a franchising, and then we changed it to a licensing model. So what we've gone and done now, we've started to look at the whole world as and divided into four main regions. We've broken that down into smaller regions called sort of master licensing areas and licensing areas. We've gone and built a sort of a go-to-market strategy. We've actually also brought on board some really interesting people that are experienced in this type of business. They come on board, become sort of regional managers in the regional operators in the different regions of the world, and that also there's a lot of experience that's been brought to bear. And we at the same time we started to develop an application called airdrops, and what the airdrop application is that um, very much to like you do with Groupon or Too Good to Go, you come across many of these deal of the day type campaigns where you're able to, a business can run a campaign discounted to a certain extent, and they can airdrop it to a sort of a designed audience. While we were doing this, it would work very closely with our mobile app that we're about to release. At the same time, AI, artificial intelligence, as you know, is becoming very, very relevant. So we looked at how we would adopt an AI strategy. Initially, we see the AI development as being more of something that we run as in a machine learning environment. Again, Jonathan's going to show you a couple of things around that just now. And so we've done quite a few sort of done a lot of work in to be able to cater for the new world that's coming in 2025. Now, in the release of our Frega mobile app, we are keep in mind that our whole focus is on the growth points and then the airdrop syndication units. Um, the, the, the target market that we are aiming at is the 330 million SMEs, small business enterprises around the world. And every one of these businesses has got three fundamental problems that they all want to be solved. They're all looking for ways of reducing their costs, increasing their sales, and be operation efficient to how they run their business. And I have yet to come across a business that doesn't want that. So what our focus has been is to address how we go about helping people to reduce their costs, how we go about getting them to increase their sales, and how we're going to actually get them to be operation more efficient in how they run their business. So we've been very careful to craft all our material, all our marketing material, our go-to-market strategy around those three concepts. And that's going to come out of it. You'll see in the in the mobile app that Jonathan's going to show you a bit about today. The In January 2025, towards the end of January 25, January thereabouts, we're looking to release the app. And then about a month or so after that, we'll be releasing the airdrop campaign. So in summary, over the last period, we've actually got to the point now where we've actually consolidated the company into a clear vision as to how we're going to execute our strategy. We've gone and put together a go-to-market strategy with the licensing. We've done a lot of consolidation of our investments into different asset classes, and that will become apparent when you see the app that Jonathan's going to show you now. Jonathan, with that, I'll hand over to you. You can show people what our members what the app's going to look like, and then we'll take it over from there.
Thank you, Paddy. Okay, so let's just share screen with you. I'm going to be sharing just a small selection of screens from an app, which just the left-hand side, there's well over 60 screens, but we're just going to concentrate on a couple. And as Paddy said, the purpose of Frigga is to help small and medium-sized businesses to reduce their costs, increase their sales, and become more efficient. And so the very first question, which makes things quite light and easy, is to walk into any business, any small, medium-sized business, and say, do you have a database? Could you send out a message to all of your customers at the drop of a hat? And the answer is 99% of the time is no. So what we do is we just solve that problem, and we say, well, for just 1% of your turnover, 1% of the purchase value of a transaction, why don't you build yourself a customer database so that you know everybody who comes in and does business with you? So the way it works is like this. I go into Hobo's restaurant with my family, and we have a lovely meal, and at the end of the meal, the owner comes over and says, would you like a loyalty reward? And it's rude not to say, yes, I'd love one. So I just quickly scan the QR code, and I download the Frigga app. Now, I then open up and see, oh, congratulations, you've got growth points, and there's the Hobo's branding. And I think most of the people on this call understand that we can issue branded loyalty rewards for any business. Very simple process. They don't have to buy any third-party tools. They don't have to get involved in capital expense, and there's no long-term commitment. In literally just a few minutes, they grab their logo, we put it into the disc, and they're able to select the amount of rewards they're issuing. And so from a customer point of view, this is a branded point to congratulate me on my Hobo's business, the Hobo's transaction. So I also notice, of course, the numbers would be much smaller than these initially, but I also notice that I've got some asset value and I've got some cash. And there's this avatar here and notification and a few buttons along the bottom and a chat. And maybe I open up the chat and see that Hobo's has said, thanks very much for your business. Next Wednesday, we've got a special offer. Why not come back? And maybe I just leave it at that and put it in my pocket. But locally, I notice that I'm getting similar growth point rewards from other businesses. So I can get Fisherson seafood points and the barbershop points and so on. So locally, I begin to notice that I can get more of these growth points. And again, I just scan and walk away and don't take much notice of it. But after a little bit of time, just a week or so, I get a notification on my phone that says, by the way, the £2.50 worth of growth points that you got from Hobo's is now worth £3.50, and you've got a little bit of asset building and a bit of cash in your account. And I think, hold on a minute, what's that about? So I open it up, and here's this notification in the avatar, and I click to find out a little bit more. And it says, do you want to know why you own some of these assets and some of the cash? Well, it's because actually, as a user of the Frigga platform, you own a part of it. And this is your asset value of the ecosystem. And this is the cash that you're entitled to as more and more businesses use more and more of our services all over the world in 115 currencies. So I think, well, that's good. How do I get more? And the answer simply is just to share. So I just share it with my friends and my sister and maybe to shop down the road and qualify for more of the assets and more of the cash return. And once I've shared it 5 times, I get 1% cash back with any of the businesses that offer growth points. So I'm happy. That's me. But there's something else that's going on, because Hobos has got, let's say they've got 300 customers that they've issued growth point rewards to. But we invite them, we say, would you like to issue airdrops? So they click on issue and they see straight away a map. And the map shows that they've got customers in the local vicinity of their business, but they've also got prospects, a whole load of prospects. And this prospect is everybody who's got the app as a result of any number of businesses having issued growth points. So now Hobo's restaurant is able to do what we call a flash offer. So they click to create a flash offer and they set a time. Maybe they've got an evening where they want to get rid of some burgers quickly, and they might set it for 3 hours, for example. Set it for 3 hours, they create their offer, and we at Frigga send it out. We send it out to all those people that it applies to in the area, and there's no charge. So straight away now, Hobos has got a free advertising medium. Now I receive this offer. I'm a customer now, and I receive it on this offer button. It shows up as a notification, and I can flick left and right and see the offers in the area. And I think, well, that's good. I don't like burgers, but I know Paddy does. Paddy's never heard of Frigga. He's never heard of Hobos. And I just click, share the button. I click the share button, it goes to Paddy. Paddy thinks, oh, I'll have a look at that. So he registers, and we've just grown the ecosystem again. He grabs the offer, and he sees that it's 450 meters away. So he clicks on the little icon, and it shows a map, and it says, go down the road, turn left, turn right, and there they are. So he walks himself down to Hobos, which he's been in the area for years, but never noticed that down the back street was Hobos. He goes into Hobos, makes the purchase, and right there we make a transaction fee. And that's a 10% charge on the value of the transaction. So Hobos now has no advertising, upfront advertising cost where they may or may not make a sale. Every time they make a sale, we make a charge. That 10% charge, about half of that, goes and buys Hobos more of the assets. So they're happy because over time, the assets pay into their cash, which repays that 10%. So you can see that there's a cycle here, which is a self-supporting cycle. Now, at the bottom, many of you on the call may actually be a part of this, but if you see at the bottom, we've got this little help icon. And that little help icon is where users of our ecosystem who have got used to it and know what they're talking about and have gone through a process qualify to be consultants. And they receive a greater share of the revenue as a result. But it means that I, as a newcomer, I might even have a business. And I click on this and I think, well, I want to know more. So I click on help, I get through to a consultant who I set up a relationship with, and they're my consultant for life, a dedicated consultant. And they say, well, Jonathan, you say you're a plumber. Did you know that we've got a third-party application that's just landed on our platform that works really well for the trades? Why don't you have a look? So right here is more. There's 9 dots of more. So I'm encouraged by my consultant to tap on more. I tap on more and I click that plumbing application that was advised. And off I go. I'm happy. I'm using another of the Frigga services, and it's a fixed fee per month. But guess what? Because I own part of the applications on the platform, let's say it's a commercial product and I'm paying £50 a month, for example. Well, it's £50 a month, but it generates £1 the next month, and then it generates £4 and then £10 and so on. And over time, over the course of a couple of years, I could find that I'm actually not paying for this application anymore. It's paying me more than I'm paying it. So that's how that works. And of course, third-party developers are going to be very keen to get their applications on our library. Why? Because we've got consultants answering everybody's questions, no charge to the third-party developer, who can say, I know what you want. They have the expertise of the applications on the platform. They indicate the right application to the right customer, and away we go. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on here is with the assets. We all know we've got these Frigga assets, but that actually breaks down into various classes. And I know that one of these actually needs an update, but there we are. So we click on here on assets, and it opens up and tells us which assets we've got. Well, you've got growth points here, which we're all familiar with, represents the value of the entire ecosystem. Growth units is going to be renamed growth services, and this will be all of the applications and services that are being bought and paid for. And so we own a portion of the applications and services as we use them. And then there's the growth fund. Now, growth fund is very key because we're going to actually be taking 5% of the entire revenue that goes through the entire ecosystem and buying stocks and shares on the stock market in businesses where we can be influential and gain access to those businesses, get them to use our tools, or beg your pardon, get them to use our tools and simultaneously get access to all of the users that they have within their business. And then fourth here, now we've got airdrop units. So the airdrop units are relating to this particular application. And for those people who buy airdrop syndicate units, there'll be another item. So this is actually going to become ad services and then the airdrop syndicate. So just so to remove the confusion. But as you can see, it's a very comprehensive suite just within those two applications. And that's what we've been rather busy with, and that's what's coming out very soon. So over to you, Paddy, and we'll take it from there. No, Paddy, are you there?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. In addition to that, thank you much, Jonathan. What we've also done over the last couple of weeks, we have negotiated, and we're pretty far down finalizing the contract with a company that manages 52 of the 680 shopping centres in the UK. Where we're going to be implementing growth points as a system and airdrops to about 25 to 30 of their stores in each of those centres. So we're looking at about just over 1,000 merchants are going to be using the growth services, growth points, as well as our tools. I'll come back and explain what the significance of that just now is. In addition, because of the way we've gone about and the tools we are presenting ourselves with, we've also had recent discussions with a gentleman who manages the biggest urban shopping sort of communities outlets here in the UK. One of them is Camden's with 6,000 stores and 250,000 people a weekend going through Camden's. Another one is Coventry Gardens, and a few others. But there's about 19 or 20.
Covent Garden Market and Camden Market are two of the big ones.
Camden, yeah, that's right. Sorry, yes. We've opened up a WhatsApp group with them. We're going to be presenting to them our offering, but they're really excited about the fact that we've gone and addressed the issue. A lot of these guys have been running these businesses or these shopping malls and sort of managing the sort of the malls for some time now. But the big thing that they all are lacking is the ability to have available to them raw data that allows them to make an informed decision as to how to get more traffic into those shopping centres. In that regard, we'll show you a little a dashboard just now. Jonathan will show you of what we've developed. It's really going to change it. In addition, with our strategic partners we built up in our licensing partners in Bulgaria, Sweden, Poland, as well as recently we're busy finalising Australasia, a gentleman in Australia, in the Gold Coast, who's looking to sort of help us with the rollout in the Asia Pacific area. We are in discussions with a few other people in America and Canada. But we've got a lot of commitment from them to help us roll out the tools. So you're going to find that we've achieved our objective right in the beginning. The driver's initiative was to get together to see how we would be able to bring a product out that's going to allow us to go and get the number of people to use our services. We've achieved that. We've also looked to get a channel to market that's going to allow us to facilitate the ability to get that out, and we're achieving that now with our Everything app with Frigga. We've also looked at at mechanisms whereby we're going to be able to get the numbers to accelerate very quickly, and we're achieving that with our licensing. So what you're going to find is going to happen is that very quickly in the new year, after we release the app, we're going to end up with a lot of downloads. Now, just to give you an idea of scale, if you take any particular shopping center, in each of these shopping centers, there's 20 to 25 stores. Each of those stores have got 100 to 150, 200 customers, some of them with 300 customers. Yes, there's duplication of customers as well, but it's not unreasonable to say that out of those 20 to 25 stores, between them, there's going to be about 5 to 6,000 people are going to download the app in the process of when they download the app in order to claim their growth points. So and that's going to be 5 to 6,000 people out of a catchment area of 50 to 60,000 people that tends to support that shopping mall. And that's a tipping point. That's about 10%. Now we replicate that 52 times in the UK, and we're talking now 250 to 300,000 people are going to be downloading the Friga app. Now that's 250 to 300,000 people are going to be part of the Friga ecosystem, taking our existing 13,500. In 2 weeks, we will achieve that and replicate it even further. So we're going to have a lot of people downloading this app. And that's not even taking into account the fact that we're going to replicate it in all these other countries with the licensing partners that we're working with. So the number of downloads is going to accelerate very, very quickly. Now, out of that 250,000, 300,000 downloads in the UK, 10% on average of those clients are themselves running a business. So we potentially are going to be introducing another 30,000 potential businesses that we're going to be able to present our offering to. And because of the way that the app works, with the way the modeling, the messaging works, we've designed it in such a way to create an awareness of the value of being able to use our services. We bring to their attention the fact that the value, the assets, the enterprise value is increasing, and a fair percentage of those people are going to start using our services. So we've achieved our go-to-market strategy, which is the whole purpose of the Drivers Initiative. So everything has been achieved. What you're also going to find is going to happen now is that increase in the number means that the business itself is now in a very, very strong position to bring in the equity partner that we spoke about. So when people approached us to look to buy into the business or become equity partners, what they said to us is, show us the numbers, show us the metrics, show us that you've got a product that everybody wants to use and you've got yourself a deal. Well, we're going to have ourselves a deal now. We needed to get the product out. We needed to get the drivers group together. We needed to get the mobile app out, which we're now about to get out. We needed to have the go-to-market strategy to get the scale around the world quickly. We've gone and got all the rough edges out of the way with regard to making it more seamless, frictionless, and easy traction. And we've addressed everything that we set out to achieve. So in 2025, soon thereafter, when we go into the new year, we're going to come out with a vengeance, and a lot of these transactions are going to take place. What's also going to happen is you'll notice that we've just recently changed the front face of our website. Friga we're promoting ourselves, positioning ourselves as a software as a service company, with addressing the 330 million people around the world that run their own businesses, and the 5.5 billion people that would digitally engage on the internet every day, and that would actually be doing business with these 330 million businesses. So we've made a very clear statement as to what our business is. We're a software as a service company operating under a licensing model. Very important to understand that. So when anybody says to us, what is you doing? We tell them what we're doing. Now, this was important because we needed to get the financial gateway in place so we are able to affect the withdrawal of money, the payment of monies. And we've got to be very, very careful because you don't want to give the wrong impression as to what it is we're doing. It's very clear we are not a multi-level marketing company. We are a business as a software as a service company, and we align people to be able to use our services in order to obviously promote their business. But in the course of doing that, we've made it very clear to the company that we're working with, or you're opening the financial account, that there is going to be a scenario where people are going to be needing to draw the money out. What they're drawing out is the return on the fact that they have got growth points that are paying them a cash dividend. We've been very careful to make sure that we meet all the Financial Conduct Authority rules. There will be a process whereby in the new year, when we release it, people are going to be able to withdraw their money. There will be a process in place where you just have to KYC yourself. The money can only go into an account that's in your personal name or in a name that's linked to your registration. So we've got some very, very strict rules. So that's going to be in place, and you will have the ability to withdraw your funds or withdraw the return on your various syndicate units that you've got. So we've been very, very careful to make sure we can manage that, and at the same time, don't fall foul of any compliance rules. As soon as the app is released, we're going to give the ability within 2 or 3 weeks after that for you to be KYC'd, and you can withdraw your funds, any funds that is credited to your account. The only requirement is that you can't draw out less than $100 or £100 at a time. It's purely from a financial point of view. Transaction fees can be very expensive otherwise. That's the only requirement. However, any money that is credited to your cash account because of the fact that you've got these growth points or whatever services that we earn your dividends, you can use that cash account to pay merchants as part payment for any of the transactions. So if you've got $1, you can use the dollar. A penny, you can use a penny. But if you want to withdraw funds, you have to have at least $100 to withdraw the funds. So all that's going to be put in place. In terms of making ourselves alluring and attractive to somebody that may be interested in buying into our business, most definitely we are. However, without complicating it, there's a very specific offering that we're going to put in place. We will be picking up the conversation with the party concerned once we release the app and got the numbers going. We will be approaching them and by the way, they are in contact with us on a regular basis, so that we will be approaching them in the new year after you release the app to pick up where we left off. There's a lot of reasons why I believe the prospects are good, that we'll be able to get an equity partner to buy into the company. That will give people the opportunity that are shareholders in Frigga to realize some of their investment. And I believe to be an attractive proposition for us. And for those people that do wish to sell, but there will be also the opportunity for those people that have invested money in syndicate units and growth points to realize their money too. So it's been a very interesting journey, a very, very constructive period. There's been a lot of work done. I appreciate, Jonathan, the work that you put into it, and Anita, and everybody involved. It's been quite a challenge, but we are now here. What has not changed is our core objective from day one. Our core objective was that we wanted to create an environment where an increasing number of people will have the ability to realize the value of their data. We said that there's one resource that we have in absolute abundance, and that's user-generated data. And if we could create a mechanism whereby people can get the value of that data unlocked to them and get a commercial interest in it, then we've achieved our objective. And that is from day one what our core objective was. How we got there was having to go through various iterations of trying to work out how to do it, and we now have got it sorted out. So nothing has changed other than the fact that this is how we're going to do it. We now have the mechanism, we have the systems in place. There will be the ability to realize your investments. There will be the ability to withdraw the funds on the investments that you're making. Everything that we set out to achieve way back, right in the beginning, we've now gone and done and achieved. So everybody, thank you for the commitment you've made over the years. It's not been easy. We've had to, every step of the way, pivot along the way, make some decisions. Some decisions didn't work. Some decisions do work. And thank goodness, with everybody and all the commitment that we've made over the years, it's highly appreciated. And that is exactly what we've done. Okay. I don't know if there's any questions at this stage. I'm quite happy to open the floor to that.
Paddy, do you want me to share the tables that we got?
Yes, if you could.
That might
Yeah,
be helpful.
a good idea. Yeah, no, excellent. We're going to show you the management tool table that you use if you're going to manage all the data around a shopping center or farmer's market. Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Good point.
Welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to share screen with you now. And what we need to remember is that we've got this self-building system where a business issues growth points and some of the customers are more businesses, and we've got the consultants who then hook up with them and help them launch their businesses. That creates more customers and so on. We also have this licensee arrangement where we've got master licenses, and what we call block managers. So a block manager would manage a block of around about 150,000 people area, which is a large town or a couple of smaller towns. And this is a representation then of a block. And this block is, we're showing all of the data. So here right away at this resolution, we can see that there are lots of customers in blue. We can see that there's a handful of consultants in black. We can see that there are businesses, and some of them are red, and some of them are green, and some of them are black. And when you hover over these, there'll be more data showing up. And when you zoom in, there'll be more data showing up. But this is a quick overview for a block manager to see how his territory is doing. And if we think about it, we've got a chocolatier, Sean, who might be one of these businesses, and we want to be able to see how do we help her as a chocolatier in this block of ours. So right there, she might be a black business, a red business, or a green business. Now, if she's a black business, everything's pretty steady. If she's a green business, she's got the hang of it, and she's rocking and rolling, and she's issuing more growth points and more airdrops, and everything's going the right direction. If she's a red business, it means something's not working out, and her level of Frigga commitment, if you like, use of the tools, success with the tools is going down. So as a block manager now, I communicate with my consultants and say, by the way, consultant, whomever, this business could do with a little bit of support. Is there something that we can help them with? On the other hand, this business is going gangbusters. And if you can get them to be 10% more successful, 10% of good success is further success. So as you can see, just from a quick visual, you've already got a lot of information. Now below that, we have this screen. A little bit confusing at first, but if you look, what we actually have is each individual on that map has their own line, and we can subdivide those. We can say, we just want to look at the people who don't have consultants. We just want to look at the revenue line. We want to sort things by A to Z. We only want to look at the consultants or the businesses or the affiliates. But in this case, again, it's everyone. So we've got Bruce Andrews here, and we can see that this is a business which is an affiliate. And we can see the Frigga rating is 762 and climbing. So that's all looking good. We can see the value of that business and the transactions going through. We can see the 2.5%, this tells me it's a business, and 2.5% tells me the percentage of growth points. So this 2.5% shows me that they've actually increased 2.5%. So they've understood that they're issuing growth points, but they're receiving growth points, and actually their margin allows them to push it up a bit, and everybody does better as a result. Here we see the what three words. So they've set their profile and they've included their what three words, so we can pinpoint them on the map. Here we can see that we could chat with them, but at the moment they're offline. Here they're online. Here we can see that this business has a consultant. Here we can see that this business is using 3 of the applications. Then we can see the number of growth points that they're issuing over a 30-day moving cycle. Here we can see that they are also supporting other businesses, and we can see that they've made 40 purchases claiming growth points from 3 businesses, and they're pretty steady, so they're not venturing out to other businesses yet. So that gives us some more information. Here we can see the campaigns that business is running. So they are running 32, or they've run 32 campaigns, and they've acquired 782 transactions from those 32 campaigns. And both of those over the last 30 days are increasing. And here we see that they are also claiming airdrops themselves. So they've actually claimed 72 airdrops. 69 of them they've followed through with, but 3 they actually didn't complete the purchase. So this is an indicator that we keep and make sure that this is not a time waster. Beyond a certain ratio, we can act. And then we can see the butterfly effect. Now, the butterfly effect, as we all know, is this kind of 6 degrees of connection. And we can see that this person has actively shared the application 32 times, 14 of which over the last 30 days. And then we can see the amount of interaction with the avatar, which, as Paddy said, starts off as machine learning and then becomes full AI. So right here, there's quite a lot of information. And if my objective is to quickly scan and find those people who are not sharing very much, I just look for the caterpillars with the down arrows, and those are the ones that I want to activate there. If I want to look to get businesses to issue more campaigns, this is the column I'm focusing on, and so on. So it's data with real value. And that's an indication. We'll then have a row that we're working on at the moment, which gives us a sort of comparative. So your average versus the national average and that kind of thing, so that the block manager can see at a glance how to accelerate the use of all the tools in their particular block. So that's that one. Paddy, if you wanted me to, I could actually
if you want
show
to
that.
bring that, excellent. If you could just bring that up again, Jonathan, I just want to make a couple of points on that as well. Andrew's asked a question there as well. Okay.
Yeah, let me just
bring
share
that
again.
up. Okay. What it is this, okay, is that we basically we've taken the whole world, working with what three words, and we've divided the world into blocks of data. Okay. For example, I'm going to take UK as an example. For example, the UK has been divided into I think 6 major regions, major master areas, and then that's broken down into 10 smaller license areas, and then 10 blocks underneath that. So you're going to have about between 100 to 150,000 people. So if I took, let's say, the Woking Borough, for example, which is 100,000 people, or the Camberley, Surrey Heath Borough, which will be 100,000 people, whatever. So you're going to divide the Surrey County, Surrey, into about 8 or 9 blocks. Okay. Now, what we've done is we are the because we have delegated authority. Now, when a person registers with Frigo, the GDPR regulation says that we can gather data in order that we can't be sneaky and creepy about the data we gather, but any data we gather, we can use it for the purpose of optimizing their use of the platform. Now, what we're doing is we are in discussions with companies that are business and individuals who want to run a business where they want to manage the activities in a particular area. So what we've created here is a dashboard. If I'm a block manager and I want to run this business in this particular area, and what happens is I get delegated authority under my license. So we are licensed and we have the right to gather certain data. And we in turn would give a license opportunity for somebody to run the Friga platform on the ground in this particular area. And this is we're busy setting up now with all our master licensees around the world, regionals, and there's some really very, very influential people that are coming on board. The shopping center managers, for example, they would look to take their particular shopping center, and the center will be in the middle. And we'll also look at all of the periphery areas. So if I was looking to do, let's say, manage the data around Woking, for example, the first point to call is to go to the Woking center managers and say, would you like to manage the data? If they don't, that's not a problem because a block manager would manage that data. But we take the Woking CBD as the center point, but you also deal with the periphery area. Because we're gathering all this data, we're going to have some real-time, very, very powerful data that we're gathering in that allows somebody to make an informed decision. So what I'm going to be able to do if I was the center manager, I'll be able to see at a glance exactly, because every time somebody registers for growth points anywhere in the borough or anywhere in the area that I'm under management, we're picking up the data that do have a business, what transactions they're taking place when people are downloading the app. We're picking up the sort of what three word locations. There's a couple of tests. So if somebody is buying from an existing business in the area on a regular basis, we can make the assumption that they live in the area or certainly frequent in the area. But then also when they profile themselves from a KYC perspective, as well as from a profiling perspective on the app itself, we're going to pick up their what three word location as well. So it all has a sort of technical bearing. So we become a very, very powerful tool. So we're going to be able to measure and track exactly what's happening. But we can go now to, let's say, the center managers and say, right, let's get some foot traffic in. We can tell you now, out of all the people that come on a regular basis, who has not been in this area for the last 30 days. Now, that's an opportunity to bring them back in. What you would be able to do is send out a special, suggest them get some free parking or reduced parking or whatever. the other sort of things that I'm going to be able to do as the center manager, or as the block manager, is that working with consultants who are working with the businesses. I pretend that all that counts is the whole of the working area around the world, exclude everything else, okay, my area. But I work with the consultants who are working with the businesses. So now we start running some campaigns, but we try and encourage them to all run the campaigns in conjunct with each other. So if I'm going to run a campaign, let's say for the weekend coming up, I'm going to be able to see that there's about 20 or 30 businesses in the area, all running campaigns, maybe on a Wednesday, twice on a Saturday, twice on a Sunday, twice on a Friday, or whatever. And we can start coordinating those to try and get people into the area. So it becomes like a broadsheet. Keep in mind that when you download the app itself, you've got the on it, you've got the promotion. So I've got a targeted promotion coming to me, but if I flip on it, I'm going to see all the other promotions. So you're having the ability to leverage my offering. I may be offering it to the 150 customers or 200 customers that I normally do business with me, but in reality, I'm offering it now to a whole lot of other people that are coming into the area. So that's a very, very powerful tool. We presented this sort of proposition to as I said, the people running the Camden market and places like that. And let me tell you something, we stood back, we were sold, they bought from us, we didn't have to sell from them. And the one gentleman said, he's been doing this sort of business for years, and the most important thing to them is data. And we've actually gone and solved the problem of the data. And because we can make it a very tactile sort of situation, and it's a very, very powerful tool, it allows us to really grow the model very quickly. So the various people involved, you're going to have an ordinary user is a customer that downloads the app to gain get rewards from a merchant. They will share that app with their friends, because if you've got 5 or more downloads because you shared it, you get a 1% cash back. There's various benefits to doing that. We've gamified that. So I could be an ordinary user. As I start using it, I realize, well, hang on, there's more to it than meets the eye. So I can become an affiliate. We then encourage them we give them access to more tools to show them how they can benefit by being an affiliate, to promote it with their friends. Or I could be a business itself, where I'm actually issuing growth points to my existing customers in order for them to download the app, and obviously get them to come and do more business with me, and I can obviously target my campaigns. So I'm a business. The next type of person available will be the consultant. The consultant's role is to work with the businesses to show them how to use the tools, how that all works, and that's all in place. Then you have a block manager. A block manager would look at a particular area, identify the businesses, work with the consultants, work with the individual businesses, and actually manage that area. Now, ideally, it will be the center manager in the building, but we don't have to be. What you will find in time, eventually, it could be somebody like the other day I was speaking to somebody in Canada, where he stays in sort of outbacks of Canada, and will identify a couple of villages of about 100,000 people, and he would be a block manager in that area. So but it's much bigger than just a center manager. And then you would get your licensee, whose responsibility is to find the block managers. So you'll have a licensee for the whole of Surrey County, Surrey, for example, and there'll be 9 block managers that will be looking after the data. So the licensee supports the block manager, who in turn works with the consultant and works with the businesses. Similarly, the licensee is reporting to the master licensee, of which there's 5 or 6 in the country. It would have about 10 to 12 licensees, and then the master licensees are working to the regionals. So we've got the whole structure in place. So all this has been worked out in some sort of detail. There's a lot of sort of really important stuff here, as you can see. But the net result of this is, as the drivers initiative, we're going to get signed up a lot. We've got a lot of merchants that are coming on board. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of people who are going to download the app. Who in 10% of those are going to be businesses. We've got a lot of people that are going to come in and start using the services and promoting and being part of the management structure of block managers, licensees, master licensees. You've got the consultants, you've got the affiliates, you've got the users. There's a lot of stakeholders involved. So there's a lot of management behind this. There's a go-to-market strategy, all carefully worked out. And it's all going to be strung together through the super app, the Figure super app. And there's a lot of stuff. and we've got some really interesting initiatives with some special projects as well. So what you see in front of you was not done overnight. Okay, and it's a lot of work that's been going on into this. We have a clear go-to-market strategy. We know exactly how we're going to do this. Yes, we've got people interested in buying into the company, but the most important thing is make the company very successful, because the price we end up getting is going to determine how successful we are in executing our strategy. So, and this is exactly what we've gone and done and will do in the new year. I believe that by the end of 2025, my aspiration is to have 100,000 merchants around the world using our tool. At 100,000 merchants, it's not unreasonable to have 20 million downloads. So we could have 20 million people be downloaded, 20 million part of the free ecosystem. And out of that, there's another 2 million potential businesses that can come from that. So we've got this all worked out, and it's been, it's going to work very, very well. Those people that have invested time, money, and effort and their lives in this, and we all have, are going to get the just rewards, and it's only rightly so. Anita and the team have been slaving away at this. There's no funny business here. It's straightforward, hard work, hard dedication. A lot of thoughts have gone into this. It didn't wake up yesterday to try and do this. I haven't I haven't wanted to do this in installments. I wanted us to get it all behind us, get it all up and running. So I haven't told everybody everything we're doing, because along the way we've had to change, we've had to pivot along the way. So the fact that we haven't kept everybody abreast with everything is because we couldn't. There's too many things, there were too many moving parts. But I'm pleased to say we have a very, very clear strategy now. Every day that goes by now, the people that are approaching us are amazing, staggering, the people that are approaching us. It's really going to be something. And we raised the question, who can access the database? The only people that can access the database are those people that are licensed to access the database. So Friga is licensed in terms of the GDPR regulations to monetize that data, the data on behalf of the customers. When we enter into license agreements with the various parties along the way, it will be with delegated authority. There will be a contract, clear contract, that they are authorized to represent us on optimizing people's use of the data. So nobody can use the data other than for the purpose for which we gathered it. It's a very strict set of licenses and regulations. There will be a formal contract drawn up. There'll be a sort of a identification of who the parties are, very much like you do with consultants. There's a clear terms and conditions of engagement. There's a clear roles that you have to play. And if you breach those roles, the license is cancelled and you lose the ability to access that data. So it's with delegated authority. And it's very, very clear. So consultants are going to be able to access the data on their particular clients. Licensees are going to access the data as applicable, but every step of the way there is delegated authority going down the line. So we have a very, very clear go-to-market strategy. To put in context what I believe is possible, the successful execution of our strategy will see us have 100,000 businesses by the end of 2025. There will be, what's that, 200, 300, 400 downloads for every one of that. That's a lot of downloads. That's a lot of people part of the free ecosystem. The value of the growth points will be tens of thousands of pounds each. They'll be trading at a phenomenal price. The dividends that's going to be paid on those growth points is going to be staggering. The dividends going to be paid on all our service units that we've invested time and effort in is going to be staggering. A lot of money. We're going to get a lot of money for the fact that we've committed our lives, our resources, and to make this work. So we have a very, very clear strategy. Everybody's worked solid as a team, and I really appreciate that. Everything that we invested in, we're going to get a very good return on, and that's what's going to happen. I don't know, Jonathan, I don't know if you want to say anything on that. Anita, if you want to say something, and I'm quite happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, no, just there were a couple of questions coming about, what about consultants who are consultants to businesses that are not within their block? That's not a problem at all. So the block manager manages the area and the consultant manages the individual. So as a block manager, I might be talking to 20 different consultants, all of whom have clients in my block. So different roles for different functions, but that's not a problem. Uh, as you
New
say,
Zealand will come, yeah, sorry, I see New Zealand. Which license do you come in? You come under the master license for Australasia. There's a gentleman in Australia, and he's busy negotiating as the master licensee for the whole area, from Australia, New Zealand, right through to quite a few parts of Asia.
yeah. Who can
Capel
answer?
has a question, Jonathan.
Sorry, go
Sure.
ahead.
The top. Capel has a question almost at the top of the chat.
Go for it, Carol.
Where are we with the PA system?
Okay. All right. The way it's going to work is this. It starts off with what you call machine learning. So what it does is that when person downloads the app, there will be an AI machine learning party there. Now, what we mean by that, machine learning means it uses the existing data within our ecosystem. So if I download the app, and I have got my Brenda's Bakery and I run my business and I've got a lot of data in my hubs and all the people that I've sold to, that is data that I have access to. What's going to happen is my AI is going to learn that data. So it's going to be my digital twin, but it's going to learn the data that I've got in my hubs. So it's very much contained within what is already there. What will then start happening is over time, as the AI sort of model gets more and more sophisticated, we will start bringing in AI agents that will start looking very tightly at their data to a wider audience of things. So you've got to be very careful. And by the way, having an AI digital twin is going to be as common as having an email, as we all have an email address, we all have a mobile number. We are all going to have a personal AI one day. So get used to the fact that you're going to have one, your digital twin. The trick is is how it's been weighted. And that's where, but it's going to start off with us going machine learning and slowly building up. But it's going to be client centric to you. It's going to understand you, Kapil. It's going to understand your AI is going to understand you, Carol, and it's going to do everything for you. So what you're going to find is going to start happening, like we're doing it at the moment. When you pull up your mobile phone, at the moment, what is it you do? You click on a lot of people click on the speaker, as we used to, and you talk, you say to your phone, what's the quickest way of doing X, Y, and Z, or how do I get to this, or what are the products? That is what you're currently doing on your phone at the moment. But what's going to happen? You're going to start asking the question not of the phone itself, which is using obviously Bard and it's using Gemini, it's using the current AI tools that the Android are putting out or Google are putting out. You're going to start asking your AI the question, and it's going to be weighted for your interests. It's going to be client centric to you. And because the AIs are working in conjunction with us in the ecosystem of Frega, it's going to be client centric to you, but it's also going to be ecocentric to us as an ecosystem. So we're going to weight it very, very carefully to be client centric to us as an ecosystem. What you're going to find is going to happen over time, over the next 3 to 5 years. You've got the battle royal is taking place now. We've had the browser wars, you've had the search wars, we've got the AI war is coming. All right. And accept that fact. But the trick is to make sure that we have one that's client-centric to our needs. Very, very important. And we will win this battle. So you're perfectly correct. It's not just something that sits there. It's a very important part of our strategy. And what is happening right now is that the big databases companies out there have gone and built the massive platforms. They've gone and invested billions and billions of dollars in building their machine learning and their platforms, but they are looking for the service calls. They're going to want companies like ourselves to start buying the service call data from them. So we're going to make sure that we control the weighting of our data. And it's very, very important. So the trick here is who's going to get the adoption, who's going to get the application, and who's going to get the retention. So the day will come in years from now that you're going to end up with one of the major platforms who's going to be the biggest controller of the AI portals. And if we handle this right, it will be us. It's very important that we win this battle. And that's exactly why we structured the way we have.
Okay. Vivian had a question, but I believe we've answered hers, and I believe we've answered Anne Marie's. Um, How will the block manager know who the consultant clients are? Is this data not confidential? I think you
No.
asked also.
Yeah, we answered. Yeah, no, it's confidential. And we would know who the one day, and they will have delegated authority to know that. Yeah.
John was asking about, what about her? She's got a broader audience than just a block. That's absolutely right. Initially we're going to be using the blocks in order to create foot traffic in an area and grow and expand and so on. But the more we go, the more we'll be using the data to target customers. So when you do a flash offer, we won't just be targeting local people. We'll also be targeting other people that we know already have an interest in chocolates and other related things and birthdays and goodness knows what. So we will work according to the requirements of the business, whether that's regional, local, international, and so
on. Reese wants to know, when will everyone be back working on the program in January 2025? I guess everybody takes a Christmas holiday party.
Yeah, no, first we're going to be, well, we're working throughout the period. I know the program is going off from the 20th, and I think they get back, I think, on the 10th of January. So, but we are working with the fiber contractors, and there's work throughout this period. But we sort of back proper from, I think, around about the 10th of January. Yeah. But saying that, we are working. Nobody's sitting back. And just like we have worked for the years now, no, there's never been oh, we're off now. This is a 24/7, and we've worked at this for years. This has not been a circus.
Weekends really mean that we do go out, but we do business while we're out with the family.
Yeah.
Can we do KYC now?
No.
Not yet.
No, okay. New Zealand, which license do we come under?
The one in Australia, the master licensee, he's based in Australia, and he'll be looking after the whole Australasia area. You'll meet him in due course.
Anne Marie wants to know if she can connect with them. Can you Skype her details?
Sorry, if we can connect with, sorry.
The Australian license.
Yes, once we signed off the contract, we've settled in all the terms and conditions, and we'll probably sign that off next week, and then I'll gladly put you in contact. Yeah.
Okay. Have we got a license for the Philippines already?
No, that'll fall under. We are in discussions with, mind you, I think the Philippines falls under the specific.
That's Australia. That's Asia Pacific, but then underneath that, of course, it subdivides and subdivides. So
yeah.
Okay, so the website plus will be my plug in to my website and all. That's from Sean. So the website plus will be my plug into my website and AI.
Plugged into AI. I think Anna Marie said it will do both. So
it's an API.
Great.
Yeah. So it's working with APIs.
Yeah, so your website plus you put behind your website so that your users, when they log in, they can become free-go users as well. That gives you unified communication, etc. Your AI will be personal to you on your mobile app, and your growth point issuance will continue as before. So you've got 3 different tools that all work in concert. Yeah.
Okay. What are the 4 regions again? The 4 regions.
Yeah, there's Middle East, Africa, and Europe in one. Then you get North America, South Americas, and then Asia Pacific, the rest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Barbara, it does all sound very complicated. It is an everything app, but the point is that if you go back to the beginning of the presentation, all you do to start with is you just claim a growth point loyalty reward. You just, yes, I'd like a loyalty reward. And then things just trickle in. We're not expecting anybody to understand it all from the start. There are very complex apps out there, but we just give the thin end of the wedge. And if people are interested to learn more, they will. If they're not, they're just happy to collect loyalty rewards from businesses and gradually accumulate an asset that pays them cash. That's all they need to be aware of.
Yeah.
As John correctly said, You know, you're going to find that the everything, the Frigo Super app will eventually have thousands of applications, just like WeChat does. So there'll be thousands and hundreds of thousands of applications as to how you would use the app, but you'll only use the ones that you would like to use. At the moment, for example, if you go and look at the Google App Store or the Apple App Store, there are hundreds of thousands, millions of apps. You only use the ones you want to use. The same thing's going to happen. So when you download it, you can get access to everything, but you just use the ones that you want to use. And when you're unsure about which ones to use, pair up with a consultant who would be using, you know, tools and AI, who will eventually start specializing to help certain people based on the industry. So, you know, don't overthink it. It sounds complicated now, but it's not. Once you start using it, it's like riding a bicycle. You won't fall off.
Yeah. Very good. Very good information. Any
Okay.
other
So,
question?
yeah, just to summarize, have been working very hard over the years. Nothing has changed in terms of our mission and object. The trick was to make sure we have a successful business so we can all get a return on our investment. Nobody's gone away. Nobody's run off with anything. We working very hard. It's sort of been difficult, but we've had to overcome all the challenges. We are going to be really, really, very super successful in 2025. We will achieve every single objective we set out to achieve. We've been working hours, 24/7, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the phone. Anita's. I often talk to Anita when it's 2 o'clock in the morning her side, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon my side. Jonathan's been working. Simon, you know, in fact, Manny often says to me, like, Jonathan's like my brew, my brother. I spend more time speaking to Jonathan than Manny at times. So it's been a lot of work, a lot of work. You know, and also please, people understand this. You know, when you've got a public hub, as some of the hubs are, and you start bringing out stuff which is totally untrue, not based on any sound judgment or consent, that gets into the public domain, and that makes it extremely difficult for us. We have worked very, 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 very hard to make this successful for everybody. So when you start talking about things that are not true, based on rumor, innuendos, you just cause problems for you and everybody. We work very hard, and I think we deserve better than that. So please, just be careful what you say. You know, loose lips sort of sink ships, as you know. And I think when you start talking, make sure you talk from an informed position and not pick up all this rubbish. I really appreciate that.
Yes, I second that.
No.
Any other questions? It's
Okay,
so good
everybody,
to see
all good?
everyone. Welcome all of our new members. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all. And thank you for those compliments as well that are coming through for chat. That's
Yeah,
nice
I
to see.
really appreciate it. It's been hard, but nothing. Our mission hasn't changed. We know exactly what we do, and we're going to be really, really, really successful. And Bill and Nigel and you guys and Scott, you guys have been absolute champions, helping us to hold the fort out there. And I really appreciate that. And we don't take anything of this for granted. It's really been amazing. So it's really been good, and we are totally dedicated. The hours that we put into this, it's all going to be well worth it. And everybody's going to achieve what we set out to achieve.
Yes. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, and we'll
Yes,
see you
you all
next
too.
year.
Thank
Okay.
you all.
Yep.
Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Merry
You
Christmas.
too,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Thanks,
Merry
Bye.
Christmas. Thank you,
Love
everybody.
you. Bye
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.